Hey guys, Arjun here. Don't know what that was. So today I want to talk about something around considering alternative perspectives. So it's something that I've been doing a lot of work on lately is resetting my mind, my ego from going into old thought processes and old conditioning and patterns and being reactive to that. So I think a lot of the time for me, I was very much kind of wired to be very defensive, very reactive, kind of fighting fire with fire, and that's not how I operate anymore. And I find a lot of peace in that. Also, it's that kind of old age saying, I'm probably going to reinvent the saying, but if you listen, you might learn something new, and if you're talking, you're just repeating something that you've been told. And so for me, there's so much pleasure in this that I'm sitting back, kind of reflecting. I'm human, I can be reactive sometimes, and then because I trigger, but then there's beauty and there's awareness in those triggers because I can trace it back and kind of see where that trauma started, to see where that block is, to see why I'm behaving in a certain way, what needs attention, what needs some light shining on it. So in DBT, dialectical behavioural therapy, we call it, for me, I can relate this to opposite action, or even check the facts, which is two tools they use. So my opposite action would actually be where it would be to kind of be defensive and kind of, start, my breath would start to kind of shallow. I'd feel a bit anxious. I'd go into kind of like a fight mode possibly, or even flight, or even freeze. I'd just go into, I'd feel overwhelmed by the situation. So actually with the opposite action, what can I do? Where I want to run away from this situation, perhaps I can just stay and breathe, introduce some breath work. Perhaps I can just listen a little bit more and consider the other person's perspective. Perhaps I could just take my journal and start to write about this conversation or about this instance, what actually is going on there. Even just taking 5 minutes away, I think there's some research that I really enjoyed is that an emotion lasts on average about 90 seconds. When you're in that emotion, it feels so overwhelming and overpowering. But what we do is we keep re-triggering that emotion because we keep adding fuel to the fire and we keep triggering it. But actually, if we can sit with that and kind of say, okay, this is going to feel a little bit uncomfortable, but I know it is just an emotion. This is just an emotion. I can ride this wave. I'll come out the other side, and I won't have made any rash decisions. I won't have put myself in a place of discomfort or made myself feel shit about a situation. I haven't attacked anybody else or made anyone else feel quite shit about this situation. So yeah, I think considering alternative perspectives is really important. Even with a lot of things to me now that are going on in the world, is we are taught and conditioned to believe certain things, where actually with a lot of things there is two sides to every story. There is also other media that can give you different kind of insights into the different things. So challenge what we're always being told, what we're telling ourselves firstly. Just sit with that and be like, okay, so I feel triggered. Are they really attacking me? Or is this me? Is this sensations in my body? Is this me going on old data and old thought processes? And then even like to introduce that into other things. So, am I being conditioned to believe a certain thing? What is the alternative perspective to that? Do I have to believe everything I'm being told by the news, things I'm reading on Facebook? Do I have to believe everything I was taught at school? Absolutely not. There's a lot of things being disproved that I was taught at school when I left, 20 years ago or whatever it was, but it's up to us to consider alternative perspectives and to update those thought beliefs so we can move forward, we can make better decisions, we can become better people, evolve and grow, and in turn, encourage and help other people, slowly, but asking people around us, could you just maybe consider an alternative perspective? Could you maybe consider me, that I'm growing and I'm a different person? So could you maybe consider me from a different perspective, please? I'm different now. I'm trying to change those processes of who I was. So please accept me for who I am now. So just a little thing on alternative perspectives, because I think it's really important. It's really changing my mind a lot, when I'm actually going in and doing the work and considering things that actually I've created some of this, and it's very freeing, and it frees up a lot of energy for me to go back into a place of love and go back to a lovely vibration. Thank you for listening.